I'm not mean. I'm funny. Hey.
All right. So we're doing this. This is our first one.
Yeah, it feels weird.
I think eventually we'll get better at it. But so what, if someone were to say, what are we doing? How would you answer that question?
We are entertaining ourselves. We find ourselves really funny.
And maybe other people might too. Anyway, I think, so the idea for this came about because it's right now it's the end of December of 2025. And like all good people, we're trying to have some New Year's resolutions. And we decided that we, in 2026, were going to become more interesting people. Do better things, more fun things. Actually, I'll have to pull up the list. But one of them was to just get out of our comfort zone. Oh, and establish a better connection.
And find something that we can do together, because literally, I mean, and this is probably why I was really upset, thinking we don't do anything together, because we barely decorated the house for Christmas and barely got our shit together, for lack of a better word. And I'm like, we need something more to do than just playing Connections on the New York Times app.
Yes. Which is very fun, especially because I don't really play that many games.
Any games?
Any games at all, except for chess. I was in, as you know well, I was in the chess and checker club in middle school. And
that's like the one game that for some reason had zero interest in. And my dad liked chess. And I was like, no, I'm not into it. So we really overlap well.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder why I like that game. Why did you just said last night, this is a really good game. What makes it a good game?
It makes you think. I like games that make you think.
So Connections, it has 16 words or short phrases. It's a New York Times game, and you have to group them into four by four groups of four. And there's supposed to be an easy, a middle, slightly harder, and then a really hard. And they're weird, but they're good. It's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Love it.
So one of the things that so we're going to do this. I think it would be good to play a little game right off the bat, which is the 3-word game. And so
the what?
3-word game.
What's that game?
What are 3 words that you would use to describe the other person? Actually, yeah. And then I was thinking also, what are 3 words that the other person would use to describe you, and see how it overlaps.
Ooh, okay.
Right? So actually, let me think about that for just a second. Well, do you want me to go first?
Were we doing like 3 words, like just like adjectives? Or I thought we were doing 3 words that we associate with that person.
3 things.
3 things.
How about 3 things? So for example, let's talk about your cousin, Jay.
Okay.
She was over this weekend and we did this, and they were kind of funny. They were
biking. Menopause.
She's
well versed.
She knows a ton about menopause. She goes on these extreme bike rides. And what was the third one?
Well, we were trying to figure out the third throughout our conversation, and then randomly it came up that we were talking about Milwaukee, which is where near where she grew up. And she said, "Oh yeah, the domes." And we're like, "The domes?" And then of course we're like, "Oh yeah, the domes. There's these 3 domes in Milwaukee where they're like huge terrariums where they grow like tropical plants in one of them and desert plants in the other, and then have, I don't know, exhibits in the third one." And she said she's like, "I've been there at least 18 times because we went there for Mother's Day. They had an exhibition every year. And so, yeah, I've been to the domes a lot."
And what you didn't know is that when she first arrived, she said, "Oh, I was at a party last night and I met somebody from Milwaukee." And he's been to the domes. Like she actually brought that up even before.
Yeah. So,
we
okay.
did it later.
So we jokingly said now that's the third thing for Jay.
Yes.
That when we think of her, we think about the domes.
Which is awesome. Okay. So if you had to name 3 about me or you, what would they be?
Okay. Well, I've got one for you.
Okay. We can not have to do it in order.
Okay. Getting up really early and going to bed really early.
That's like my thing.
That's one of your things.
Okay. One of your things is constantly reading. Like hardcover book, Kindle, on your phone. And I mean, even like if we're at friend's house and the conversation drags just a little bit, I know that I can look to my left and see Claire peeking at a book she's reading.
And like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, it's not like that's a virtue because I'm not necessarily reading things that will expand my mind. I'm often reading trash that I would not want to share even the titles of. I'm not always reading trash, but
Not yet.
Yeah.
When we get more comfortable doing this.
Yeah, not all of them.
Well, it's not like our son, who's 14, is going to happen to look at your Kindle and see a page of that trash, is he?
Yeah, he has done that, and he's like, Mom. So anyway.
But I also like the fact that our friends don't think anything of it, right? Like we're over there having cocktails. Well, you're not having a cocktail, but we're having cocktails, and you're just reading your book, and it's cool.
I mean, just because everybody looks at their phone, I'm just reading instead of doom scrolling, although I do that a little too. All right, I got to think of another one for you.
How would I have one for myself?
Oh, okay.
I'm very like always thinking about business ideas or working on some sort of like new thing that's going to become a business or something. What do you think about that?
I agree, and I think you get it. You're going to love this. I think you get it directly from your mother, who always had a phase. You have these phases. So describe what her phase, give a couple examples of her phases.
Yeah, oh gosh, there's many. One of them was called rose mauling. So this was when I was a little kid. Rose mauling what is rose mauling? I think it's like when you do this sort of like painting, this like intricate painting on like serving trays and stuff like that. I think that's rose mauling. Rose mauling was one. Here's the weird one. She was into this phase where she would do tiny little holes in the top and bottom of an egg, and she would blow the egg out, and then you'd be just left with the shell, and you'd dry it out, and then you'd put them in these wire chickens. And that was like a decorative thing, and she would make these for all of her friends.
Put them in wire chickens?
Yeah, like a wire basket, the shape of a chicken, and you'd hang it.
Of course she did.
Oh, and shabby chic.
Oh, I've got one.
What?
I can't believe that you forgot. And obviously I didn't know your mom, but I've heard the majority of your stories. Can you guess? I'm going to tell you. Z-brick.
Not shabby chic. Oh, Z-brick.
What's Z-brick?
The Z-brick. Z-brick is a thing that was kind of before I was born. It was like when my parents were married really early. Like it must have been the first 6 months before you were. Oh yeah, that's right.
Born, because
that's right. Or it was before I have a conscious memory of her things. But Z-brick is like this faux brick, not a wallpaper, but kind of. And I think it was in the 70s, and she would put it on all the walls of all of our houses. Oh, actually, wallpapering, and then wallpapering removal. These are all phases that she went through.
Yeah.
So I have phases too. Is that what you're saying?
So I can, like, a little bit your enthusiasm, you get into things, and you're not like those people who go like 100%, like your dad.
Yeah.
On like biking, he goes all in. Like, you're not one of those people, but you do have your phases.
Yeah.
And those phases are related to business ideas.
They often are.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that I just find it interesting, like a challenge. Like, how could you structure this to do this and make it's? I don't know. I don't think I'm all about money, at least anymore. I probably used to be, but I don't know. For some reason, that does interest me.
Yeah.
All right. How about another one for you?
For me.
Yeah.
Oh, there are so many aspects to my personality. There aren't. There aren't.
How about this? Which brings us to the title of the podcast. I was just thinking we should maybe explore that a little bit more because if I remember right, that phrase is not your original
No,
phrase, but you latched onto it.
we latched onto it in describing me. So when we first came and visited San Francisco before we even considered moving here, one of our really good friends lived here, and she had a friend who.
It was the cheese story.
Yeah, well, we went out. We went out in San Francisco, and we were just waiting and waiting and waiting for this woman. And she came, and she was just a lot for our Midwestern sensibilities. And I think the first thing she did was insult Wisconsin cheese and say California was better. And we were like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And she was just so blunt. And she described herself by saying, I'm not mean, I'm funny. And like, at the time we thought she was kind of mean.
But she was actually right. Because
she was 100%
I would
right.
say
and
now, yes, Wisconsin cheese is not as good as California
No, and
cheese.
I love her. And like, it was just...
But I think that goes hand in hand with why we like that phrase. And, you're not mean, you're funny, and you're right. Right?
Oh, that's one of my ones. I like being right. Oh, my God.
Yes. And then one of mine would be that I really try hard.
Oh, yeah, you're a tryhard.
Is that a phrase?
It's definitely a phrase. I don't know if we're using it properly, but
sounds like it could be pretty negative.
It's not positive.
Well, I actually think it's positive. It means I work hard at things. And being funny is one of them.
Yeah, every 1 out of 10.
Which, I don't know. I some people laugh at that, but I think that's an honor because you need to do things a lot to get good at them. Maybe I just don't ever get better.
Oh, no, it just goes along with your trying.
Yeah. Anyway, so where are we on? We're like 2 or 3.
I don't know. Somebody should keep score of this, huh?
I know. Yeah. I'm probably winning. No, what's another thing for either? Well, I mean, one of the things that defines your life, if we want to get into it now, is just something that hits you from childhood.
Oh, yeah, but I don't want to define my life with it.
It'll come up plenty
and I
enough.
hate it, so let's not talk about it yet.
All right, perfect.
How about Lake 17?
Ooh.
I grew up on the best lake in the whole world, and it is a part of me and a part of my family, and I'm so excited that Brian fell in love with it too.
I did. Describe the lake. It's small.
It's like 170 acres. That doesn't mean anything to me, really. Like it's the right size to go on a ski run, and it doesn't have that many people who live on it because one family owns a whole bunch and they haven't sold it
yet. So
it's really peaceful and it's clear. It doesn't have weeds like a lot of the lakes where I grew up. It's just gorgeous.
And it's also a private lake, meaning there's no public landing.
Right. So,
which totally can change the dynamic of a lake if you have random people coming in and, out of it at all times.
Yeah. So that sounds pretty snobby, but it's really nice. It's a gorgeous lake. You don't have like people bringing like different, I don't know, what is it? Milfoil? Yeah. Bunch of random like polluting weeds and stuff.
But I can remember like when we were first dating and I'd stay at your house, your parents' house. And because I get up early, as you alluded to, you didn't allude to it, you stated it. That's another thing about Claire. She's good with words. Oh, that's another one.
I tend to be like precision.
She likes etymology, right?
Yeah.
But I would get up early and I would go out and there would be, fog on the lake. And I felt like I was the only one up, and it's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And I remember thinking, I need to take in this moment because this is absolutely
she's not going to date me forever. No, wait.
Yeah. She didn't. She got married to me And look at us now.
Well, I feel like you might have married me for the lake, so there's that.
Well, it helps. Let me put it that way.
And I married you for the health insurance.
Thank you. What? Where does your interest in words come from? I mean,
I don't know. It's like one of those innate interests. Like it comes probably from reading, but I like finding the right word. I like when people use words creatively in an interesting way. I don't know why. There's no why to that. It just really is really cool to me.
I heard a podcast by Seth Godin this morning, so I would trust him as a source. And he said that in all of literature, 50% of the word usage is comprised of 150 words. Like 150 words make up 50% of all the written literature. Isn't that crazy? And the other 50% is all the other
words,
of thousands of words out there, the ones that you're interested in.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I like every now and then I kind of do a little deeper and deeper dive into it. But last year I read a couple books that were so interesting.
Do you remember that author?
Yeah, John McWhorter. He writes for the New York Times. The book was Our Bastard English Tongue, something like that. And
I'll look it up.
Okay. And it tells us like the history of English, how it evolved from
Our Magnificent Bastard Tongue.
Magnificent Bastard Tongue. Thank you.
Cool
And
title.
it tells the story of English, how it evolved from a Germanic language and then got basically stripped of a lot of like the okay, I'm totally nerding out. It got stripped it's got stripped of a lot of the verb endings and tenses.
I can hear it in your voice. You're excited
by the nerd alert. The Vikings were like they came invaded and were adult language learners and they couldn't learn all the verb endings, but because so many of them settled in England and their kids were the ones who learned English from them, and these were stripped down version.
So this is actually one of those things that just happens.
Anyway, yeah. So that was my glucose monitor. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. So anyway, they stripped down the English language, and I love that story. I don't know. It's fascinating. So I find all of that interesting. And there's no real, like, I can't justify it. Yeah. It's just, I like it.
When you were doing all that reading, you had so many interesting tidbits of things to tell me, like how language would go with the way of the shipping routes because of the people taking the language and stuff. I don't know if I'm remembering that right, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who actually know the stuff. I'm just kind of the armchair, like, oh, that's cool.
Armchair etymologist?
Yeah, not even. I just, I like to look stuff up. I like to know stuff. Like, I find it fascinating that so many of the expressions we have come from sailors and sailing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't think of any right now, but I love that. I don't know why.
That's cool. Since we're just kind of continuing to get to know each other deeper and those listening, speak about sailing. That's kind of been an interesting thing lately.
I'll say what happened. I haven't gone really very far, but I signed up for something called a women's sailing seminar, held in our hometown, which is on an island. And it was one of the better weekends of my life. It was so supportive. And
I remember you saying that, and it just made me feel really good.
Yeah, it was so fun. And I learned, also the part that so I've never really learned how to sail or anything. And it's still on my to-do list, but that experience got me so excited about it because not only were like it was run by women, and so like you just didn't feel ever put down for not knowing something ever. And like I didn't think I would be able to like hoist the mainsail, and I didn't think I would be able to grind, and there was enough support to make me believe that I could. And the other thing I really enjoyed about it is like you have to be, if you're actively like sailing, you have to constantly be thinking about this and that. I mean, at least a beginner like myself does. I would assume that after a while you don't have to think at all, but there's just a lot to be like taking into account and adjusting, and there's so much scope to learn stuff.
And you went out on a Tuesday night with that one gentleman who was so particular about things. It sounds like it was a perfect fit.
Well, yeah. So after the sailing seminar, I joined this. It's kind of a virtual yacht club because their clubhouse got demolished for the sake of development.
Oh,
they wanted to put up condos, and they did.
Wow.
So it was really cheap to join. But the cool thing is that because of that, they actually kind of try hard to get people together. And they offer, like, club members will take their sailboats out on Tuna Tuesdays, Santana 22s. I think that might be right. Take their sailboats out and take people sailing who don't have a sailboat like myself. So I signed up for one of them. And the first one I went on was with this old sailor Hank, and he's probably not that much older, but his dad bought his sailboat he was sailing when he was like a teenager, and he and his friends used to just be let loose on the bay in San Francisco and sail wherever the heck they wanted. And he'd just be like, yeah, call me when you get there. And he's like, I did it most of the time, but not always. But the cool thing about him was like, he just had it, like everything was just so down to unconscious movement. Like he knew exactly what to do. And he was so kind.
He reminded me of my grandfather, who was particular and like always had a spot for things when he would store them. And if you ever went in his workshop, he had almost like the outline of a wrench where a wrench went. And
almost?
He didn't have the outlines, but he could have. Yeah, he had all the hammers in the right spots. And I just imagine if our son would get like loose in his workshop, how difficult that would be for my grandpa.
Yeah. But like to sum up, I'm kind of a wannabe sailor right now, and it's something that I want to do in the future. But I wouldn't say it's something about my personality yet.
That was a bit of a tangent, which is exactly how this podcast will operate. It's really just a conversation for us to connect. And actually, before I go into that, is there anything else about me that's like one of my defining characteristics?
There must be. This is kind of an adjective, but like you're just super reliable.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I think it's kind of hard to step back and sum a person up, you know? Especially if like we've been together longer than we were apart. And I don't know. What about you?
How long have we been together? Because the other night I was definitely having trouble remembering when we went on vacations.
We've known each other since 1997.
And it is almost 2026. So that's 29 years.
Good Lord.
Good Lord. Oh, my. That's awesome.
Yeah, nobody actually believes I'll ever get old. I especially did not believe I would ever get old. And here we are. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if anyone's still with us, I was thinking, what could you equate this podcast to? And I think I figured it out. Are you ready?
I I'm ready. Wait. Okay, I'm ready.
You remember those shows, or that YouTube channel where you take the trip to through Sweden on a train, and you kind of just roll
Slow
through.
train.
Slow train.
Slow train to Bergen.
Yes, that one. I feel like it's kind of like that, where you just kind of put it on in the background and you kind of listen in on some normal people's lives.
I love that you are actually picturing people listening to this.
I think that you never know what's going to happen, and that's why it's fun. But actually, I think I say that a lot, but actually, why are we doing this? I think it's mainly
fun.
for us.
It's for us.
It's for us.
At this point.
And maybe for our kid, who, if he would ever be interested in much later in his life after we're long gone and he wanted to hear kind of what it was like to get inside our heads, this would be documented proof.
Yeah, that we're crazy? Proof of what, Brian?
Yeah. I just think like it's documented proof that we're very real people and we laugh about stuff, and we have things we want to talk about and figure out, and we want to do that here too, and use this as a way to make sure that we have those conversations.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you can think about to talk about here in our inaugural episode?
Well, now that you add all this pressure.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good place to stop. I think the format's going to be unique for a podcast in that we're going to kind of just continue to have conversations and go from week to week.
Well, when you it's funny, you kind of wrote out the manifesto for what we said we wanted for the podcast, which was basically, we're doing it for ourselves. We're not planning it. We're never going to monetize it, or we don't care if we do. And we're not trying to get people to listen to it. I'm like, why are we doing it again? Like, we're doing the exact opposite of pretty much a reason why you would ever do a podcast. So it's nebulous.
And I think it's lightly planned.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do, I think, is have conversations about certain things that are important, or update on something fun that we did and why we liked it, and maybe eventually we get good enough that it strings it together to be somewhat interesting and coherent.
Yeah, maybe
Not. If not, we'll see. All right, signing off.
Bye. If you're wondering about the thing that I didn't want to talk about, we might talk about that in the next episode. It has to do with that loud beep.